What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, back for another edition of MVP Sports Live, joined as I always am with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
You can see my outlets.
You can see outlets. I was going to say, I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made for Games Live, where I was trying out different adjectives. Beautiful felt good. Okay, gorgeous, not that bad. Then I said cute, and I was like, ooh, don't say cute. That one just didn't sound right.
That sounds a little,
It just sounds weird. Like, that's an area not reserved for co-hosts. I learned that. You crossed the line?
All right. It's a
now,
cute co-host, huh?
What if it is a cute co-host, Dave? Like, see, but that's a line where you either cross into two categories of like, ooh, that didn't sound right out of my mouth, or like two, well, no, or two, kind of in that vein of, I watched the Sweetheart episode of Scrubs.
Dude, I watched about 1 billion Scrubs clips in the last 3 days.
Where Elliot goes to and goes, why do you always call me sweetheart? And then it was, oh man, I don't want to get into that kind. I can't pull the card of, hey, I've been doing this for 30 years. It'd just be how I learned to do it. Can't get away with that in 2020, so I won't be calling you or Soapy. Cute but beautiful co-host Dave Oster. We're here to talk sports, MVP Sports Live. You're sitting there going, what the fuck is this? This is exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's us talking sports, being our dumb selves. We got some breaking news. Doc Rivers is... he is going to the 76ers, so we'll talk about that, a lot more in the NBA, and much more. Before we get started, quick housekeeping. Discord, it's down below, or it's in Twitch chat, !Discord. Great community. Go join it today if you love talking sports. You want to talk with everyone in the MVP family. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you go ahead and do that. Thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. You can also support us by throwing us a sub on Twitch as well and get the same rewards as a bronze level patron. And then last but not least, we're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. But we're also on YouTube at MVP Sports as well. So go ahead, follow, like, subscribe at all the places so that you keep in touch with everything going on from MVP. But Dave, let's talk about this Doc River news coming in today. And the graphic that I have up, I made this before the news broke. It broke during Games Live. So there might be a question mark on your screen. But yeah, just ignore that question mark. Doc Rivers is going to be the 76ers' new head coach. He has inked a 5-year deal. So according to ESPN, after rapid courtship and negotiations, Doc Rivers has reached an agreement on a 5-year deal to become the next coach of the 76ers, sources told ESPN on Thursday. Rivers' deal with the Sixers comes only 3 days after he parted with the LA Clippers. It also means he'll return to the Atlantic Division. Do divisions even matter anymore? Where he'll be a principal rival of the Boston Celtics, with whom Rivers had won an NBA title in 2009 as coach. Sixers GM Elton Brand on Monday reached out to Rivers and his agent Lonnie Cooper to gauge interest in the Sixers job. Rivers soon was on a flight to Philly, where meetings on Wednesday with Brand took place. Owners Josh Harris and David Blitzer were there as well. And they had sides moving quickly towards negotiating a multi-year deal. Dave, right choice for the Sixers to bring Doc Rivers in.
I can't say that I agree with the choice. It wouldn't have been my first choice. Might not have been my second choice either. You know, he's a very highly regarded head coach in the NBA, though. I think the one thing that the 76ers were looking for was that high-profile name. You know, he's got experience coaching stars now at multiple locations. You know, his time with Boston, we talked about, you know, having the big three, big four there. Obviously, the Clippers, you know, a couple stars, less successful, but did have a couple stars there. So, you know, I do think that it could be a good thing for this Philadelphia team going forward if they're trying to add another star to it. If the Chris Paul rumors are true, you know, maybe reunite Chris Paul to the Sixers will be tomorrow's topic. Who knows? But it is a big jump for the 76ers. I think it's interesting how quickly he was snatched up. You know, it's almost like the Sixers are like, wait, why would the Clippers fire this guy kind of a moment? And I mean, I don't want to say the media was calling for his head for, losing the series, but it felt like that was kind of a thing that was going on. It didn't feel undeserved.
Yeah. I mean, now the media in LA is all doing the should the Clippers trade Paul George? Could Paul George be out in LA? It's like, no, you're just trying to blame somebody.
Paul George is a good place to start with that blame, though.
I mean, do you think he deserves more blame than Doc?
Doc deserves blame. I don't know if you heard some of the stuff that came out today.
No, I didn't.
There was a podcast. Let me see if I still have it. They were talking about...
Was it about the Clippers and stuff?
Yeah.
It wasn't your JJ Redick podcast that you like to listen to, was it?
I don't think it was JJ. So let me pull up our NBA real quick. So it was up there.
Yeah. While you pull that up, I'll basically, to me, you mentioned with like how quickly this went down. And for me, it's just one of those things where I looked at it and I was like, as a Bulls fan, I feel really good at what we did now. Because the 76ers seem to do the exact opposite of like talking as a Bulls fan. It was AKME was like, we're going to vet the choices. We're going to look at the choices. We're not going to make a brash decision. And then the Bulls kind of made a brash decision of going down to Billy Donovan. AK and Billy had a talk, and then boom, we got a coach. The Sixers kind of did the same thing.
They really did. They're like, hey, come out for a quick visit. And then I was like, hey, well, the game's going to be on a little bit. You want to stay and watch? We'll just keep chatting. We'll have a couple drinks, watch the game.
The classic, we had our business meeting. Now you can see how cool and fun we are while watching a game together.
Very casual, That's cool. It was from the Russillo pod.
Okay.
So they were talking about it. Bill Simmons talked about hearing about Doc Rivers firing. Russillo and Bill Simmons both heard Ballmer went ballistic after the Clippers' meltdown against the Nuggets. He wanted to get rid of everyone, apparently, coaches and players included. Lost face with them, talked over a week with the front office. Eventually, kind of came down to it. The big bullet points that they had this takeaway were, according to them, Ballmer grew tired of spending all his money on high-priced coaching staff that wasn't listening to the high-priced analytics staff. Key piece here was playing Zubac over Harrell. Specifically, there, was the whole blown 3-1 lead there. He might have played a big piece in that. The loss of trust in the front office, interesting. Apparently, Ballmer was huge on Michael Porter Jr., demanded they take him. His entire front office was like, no, he's undraftable. Like, you can't take this guy. He's undraftable.
So Ricky was right. When I called in our last mock draft, we were like, dude, the Clippers, they're trading their picks. They're moving up. They're taking MPJ. I'm going to call it. I was right.
No,
Doc
they weren't
Rivers,
trading up.
They weren't going to
trade
take
up
him?
for him.
Okay.
They wanted him. They were going to take Shea and him. That's what Ballmer wanted to do.
The reason why I had him trade up was like, dude, I think they want him, and they are going to be the ones.
Across the league, worst medicals ever heard of, ever seen. Like, he had an undiagnosed back problem that they couldn't find until they cut open his back.
I realize that, but yes, I thought that the MPJ to the Clippers, I had them trade up for it because I thought they were going to be ballsy, but like...
Didn't need to trade up for it. It fell in their lap, and he wanted him, and then he just got eliminated by him, and it was one of those moments, I guess. So, it's going to hurt. They've got basically no picks for the first round for a long ass time. If the two main guys leave, what do they got left? Like, he is livid. So I'm assuming more heads will fall over there, which makes me go, I don't know if Ty Lue is going to be the guy. if he's that angry about everybody there right now, I don't know that he's going to want to keep him.
At that point, I mean, Retro might get his wish. He might get like a Wes Unseld Jr., who would be a little bit,
You keep moving the L.
Unseld.
Yeah.
Yeah, Unseld.
You keep saying sled.
Oh, Unsled. Yeah, maybe he should get on a sled. Who knows? He might not need one in LA. You know what I'm saying there, Dave? Like he needs one in Denver because, snow in Denver, no snow in LA. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's interesting to where, like, with the Sixers, though, to me, I feel like on the Bulls side, because I related to that, is it bad that I don't feel the same that I feel negatively about this because of how quickly it went down, but I don't feel negatively about the Bulls one, and it almost went down the same way.
Yeah, I mean, the Bulls were, kicking the rocks around
It's
in the
because there's no
yard,
high expectations for the Bulls. Is that
waiting,
it?
and then I think it was just all of a sudden it was like, hey, a good coach drops and people jump on it, which makes you go, what's wrong with Dan Antoni?
Yeah,
So what's wrong with Kenny Atkinson? Kenny is the guy who was on the market before everybody.
the longest.
He's still on the market. So it does raise some questions about those interviews and what people are valuing in their head coaches. I mean, Doc, I think, seemed like a guy who, honestly, I don't think he had the locker room. From all the stories I've heard in the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
that locker room was a shit show.
Yeah.
So, while he may be highly respected by players, he is not the guy who is, kumbaya, player first coach and gets him going. So, I don't know. How's he going to win with this roster? I think that's where I want to take this. Is like, how do you take the 76ers roster and go, here's how Doc has won in the past. How can he implement something that what makes you have confidence in him to be able to put something on the court that lets them win?
Doc Rivers has to get a Doc Rivers guy. Doc Rivers has to get, think of that Celtics team. Doc Rivers had a Doc Rivers guy and Paul Pierce. They traded for KG and Ray Allen. That's how he wins. To me, it's and the one question I ask myself is, was Paul George a Doc Rivers guy? If he is, then maybe Doc Rivers is like, dude, Ballmer's going to be looking to trade Paul George. I know this. We need pieces on the Sixer team. We can work out a deal. That's the thing I'm thinking here too, is with Doc Rivers and his experience as the GM. I use experience because, like you said, he was not that good. The MPJ thing of your owner's telling you, take this guy. The analytics say take him even though he's got a back injury. And it's like, nope.
No, the analytics guys were not in this case. The analytics guys were on the Zubac side. This was their draft guys were saying don't touch. So.
But at the end of the day, wasn't it Doc Rivers was the GM to have that call? To basically say, this is who
Doc
we
wasn't
take,
GM
right?
at that point, I don't think.
Okay, so he was stripped by this point?
Yeah.
Because he originally, when he came in...
It was 2 years. It's been 2 years, right?
Yeah, because he originally was the GM of that team, right?
It might have been him then. He was a co-role. No. I think he'd been stripped by that.
Or was he the operation? Something. He had a front office thing while being coached to where...
All I remember is he traded his son.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think that he was GM at that point.
My point being is, I wonder if it's more of a, yes, Elton Brand is the guy in charge of the front office, but I wonder if it's also a Doc Rivers is hey, I have experience in that. We can be a team to get the deals done, because I mean, I don't see Elton Brand being the one that goes, hey, Doc, I'm the one that tells you what to do. I think it would be more of a partnership there. And if I'm a Sixer fan, I don't know how I feel about that. I think the 76ers, I would start the rumors of, like you said, bringing Chris Paul in, bringing a Paul George in, depending on if Paul George is a Doc Rivers guy. I know CP3, I would fit him in that role, before Paul George, to where they need somebody like a Chris Paul who is a Doc Rivers guy, to where he is the main cog in making sure that locker room is still with Doc Rivers. Because when he doesn't have that, we see what happens with the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, they imploded in the playoffs. That was, when you've got... I think that's what's funny. Looking at the Clippers and you look at the Lakers and you're like, both teams led by two, top 10 players in the NBA in theory. Don't know where Paul George is now after that performance, but in theory, both incredibly top loaded. But then you're like, oh man, the Clippers have so much better bench talent, and they look so much deeper. And then they just got dumpstered. And I think that's why a lot of people were like, oh, well, that means the Lakers won't be able to win. And now the Lakers are doing the dumpster. So it's just a fun, there's similarities, but they are not the same. I think part of it's having LeBron James, obviously, as a player coach, player GM, and a
just an overall extension of a head coach on the court.
Yeah,
and how he thinks about the game is different than 99.999999999% of people in the NBA.
So no, it's just I like the idea of going after that locker room leader kind of guy, because as much as a fun guy Joel Embiid is, doesn't mean he's a professional. And I think that's what we got most out of the Jimmy Butler shit was.
Really?
There were no professionals in that
Yeah.
room. Al Horford might be professional, but he was a new guy who came in who, honestly, due to his performance out there, I don't know many guys who would hold him as, a leader in that locker room. He's new to the team. He underperformed dramatically. He looked bad. Effort was questionable at times, I think it's fair to say. So I think that it's a big risk, but if they go out and make a deal for Chris Paul, that does seem like the quickest way to right the ship. And just what value, you're going to convince them to do an Al Horford for Chris Paul. We'll throw in picks and Zaire Smith and something else. Who knows?
To me, I even think of, would Ben Simmons be included in that deal? And the reason why I think about that is, could Ben Simmons and Chris Paul work side by side? Because we always look at Ben Simmons, and all I hear from Sixer fans is I hear two things: point forward like Giannis, and I hear passing ability of Magic Johnson. And it's like, all right, if he's going to be your ball handler, the guy who's getting the assists, bringing in Chris Paul, like Chris Paul is not a ball handler. So it's like, who's your main ball handler?
You need Chris Paul to be that secondary ball handler or primary at times, because literally when they didn't have Ben Simmons, no one on that team could initiate an offense. Like they're like, we can bring the ball over half court, and that's about where that game plan ended there for good old Brett Brown without Ben Simmons. So no, Chris Paul would be massive for this team. It would ensure that they have a ball handler on the court, someone who can create for themselves, and Chris Paul, someone who can create for others, and Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
I'd love to see how that would play out. I really think that is as good of a match as you can get. If you have to give up a Richardson, a Toby, or a Horford if you can shove a Horford out the door at the same time, it's a win-win deal kind of thing. I think you try to hold on to it. I know a lot of people are talking about breaking up the duo of Ben and Joe. I'm very close to that, but I'm not there. I need one more year. Toss me a different lineup, toss me a little bit different spice in the background. Let's see what we can get going. I want to give Doc a shot. I want to see what he can do with this roster, but by no means do I think that this is like, well, they fixed their problem. It was all Brett Brown. I mean, Brett Brown was a problem. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. He was lost in the playoffs. He could not make adjustments. But at the same time, we literally just shit on Doc Rivers for doing the same thing. So while he comes with much more experience and rings, Ernie, I don't know necessarily how much of a jump forward you make. Some, obviously, but not ton.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm looking right now at the Thunder to the 76ers, because the thing I was going to say when it comes to Doc Rivers being the Sixers coach is you were bringing up Joe, you were bringing up Ben, we were talking about Jimmy, and how it's like there were no real mature people, professionals in that locker room, to where I'm almost like, is this going to be Boomer coach tries to get the most out of millennial players and fails?
Oh,
like that's what I feel like here. Adding Chris Paul.
Not many coaches aren't boomers, so you got to admit there's a lot.
But like the ultimate, like if you were gonna put an ultimate boomer and be like name some coaches that are ultimate boomers for a meme team, Doc Rivers would be on that short list.
I mean, the greatest coach in the NBA right now, well,
Pop?
He's aging out. Yeah, Pop's aging out.
Yeah.
I think Pop's still a boomer.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, when I say boomer, I mean, like, the hard-headed boomer that, like, we love to make fun of type. And that's what I think Doc Rivers is, too. I think Doc Rivers falls into that category of, like, it's the whole thing of, can he motivate the young kids to want to not just play basketball, but believe they can win? And I believe the 76ers have, even with Brett Brown, who had more motivational tactics technically than Doc Rivers in my mind, with ring the bell, fucking ring the bell.
Yeah.
Like, Brett Brown couldn't even get the most out of Ben Simmons and Joe, to where it's like, I don't think out of the two, like, Embiid is not the one I question, because although Embiid might not be a professional, he's got drive to where, like, all Doc has to do is figure out, okay, how do I get the, like, because when Joe wants to go after somebody and, like, we're going to win this game, he's fucking laser focused.
Passion's there.
Yeah, the passion's there. That's what I'm looking for.
You need to refine his game.
And I think
to work with him on putting time in outside of the hours on the court. Yes. That's the problem.
And I think Doc can do that. Doc can take that passion that hey, I can't teach passion, but I
True.
can teach how to direct it. Whereas like Ben Simmons, to me, I have so many questions about him because it's like the whole thing I've been hearing, I'm going to harp on it again, where it's like he's been working on his three. Okay, he's been working on his three, but then he doesn't shoot them. Was it a Brett Brown not forcing him to shoot them? Is it a lackadaisical of like, I don't really want to shoot threes. Like, that's not my style. Like, what is it when it comes to Ben? I think there's more issues with Ben long-term than Joel. However, Joel has the biggest question when it comes to long-term, and that's the big I word, Dave, injuries.
I mean, now they both do. They both have injury histories. I don't know, man. It's the Sixers are a loaded team, but like they've got the wrong pieces. You know, each one of these guys in a bubble is an excellent player. You know, even the aging Al Horford has some things he can bring to a team that are still special. But I just don't see how this shit will work together, and I'm not sure that Doc will be able to do that. I think Elton Brand is going to need to do some things that we haven't seen on Elton Brand. And the front office needs to make some moves that put this team in the right direction instead of just panic reactionary moves, which I'll be honest, this hiring of Doc seems like a panic reactionary move. So it's kind of par for the course.
Yeah, no, it totally feels like that, to where, like I said, I thought D'Antoni was the D'Antoni was the right choice for them. I don't think Doc is the right choice. And like, if I'm the Sixers and I'm Sixer fans, I'm panicking a little bit right now because like, even like I'm working out if they wanted to bring Chris Paul to the Thunder, even they're trading for Chris Paul to add him to Ben Simmons. And the trade involves like giving up a pick, Zaire Smith, Tobias Harris, and then maybe another young piece. Like, you're giving up more players just for Chris Paul, or in my mind, doing a Ben Simmons for Chris Paul swap, which you would still have to add. The Thunder would have to find at least $300 million to get back from the 76, or not 300, 300 or $3 million. That's what I meant to say. $3 million. Numbers are hard to read sometimes because the outgoing, you have Chris Paul at 41, Ben Simmons is only at 30. So the Sixers would have to give up something else even to make that contract work. And then it comes down to, okay, you're getting you're getting the more potential player in Ben Simmons out of this. How many picks are they going to give to the Sixers? Like, that's what that trade would involve.
It's a weird deal because it feels like the Sixers are the ones in need of that talent more. But the Thunder's whole thing has been they flip for future. And if they flip for Ben Simmons, it's like, man, that's an awesome like upgrade as far as like, you don't have to hit a top pick. Although you are stuck with a contract, you have the room to eat that contract, no problem. Like,
how many firsts do you think the Thunder would have to give up?
Ben just signed, what, a 5-year deal?
5-year, $30.5 million.
Starting next year?
Right now it's at 5 years.
No. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like it just turned into the 5-year because on Trade NBA he has 5 years, $30.5 million.
Okay, that's what I was like his last rookie year ended, right? So it might be 2, it might be 1.
Okay.
Like the thing here is like it's a good deal for a top player, but do you think he's a top player at the same time? Chris Paul's deal isn't exactly good looking for the Sixers either. Like, both these guys have incredible value, but both of them are on like big contracts. So I'm guessing that the Sixers would want 2 picks. The Thunder have like $1 billion. They could make it happen. They could give up late picks to whoever.
Yeah. You know? Like the trade I have worked out right now is the Sixers would get CP3. They would get Denver's pick this year because that's the pick the Thunder have. And then out of the 2 picks the Thunder have in 2021, I would pick the Thunder pick over I think it's like Miami or Houston. Like it's one of those two where it's like, okay, based
I think it
on
would be further down the line. I think they do a 2020 and a 2023 or something like that.
And then for the Thunder, they would obviously add Ben Simmons, and to make the contracts work, you'd have to add like a Mike Scott to the deal, which would be an expiring $5 million contract at the end of the year. So it'd basically be Ben Simmons for Chris Paul and 2 firsts.
I would try to find a way to make it happen where you can keep Ben Simmons, add Chris Paul to the team for Al Horford futures, Zaire, even Richardson. I would be okay with Toby. I mean, like, let's be honest, Toby didn't end the season on strong suit. So literally feel free to move your 2, 3, or 4. Try to keep Ben, try to keep Joe, and add Chris Paul, see what happens. But again, it puts them on such a weird timeline because they got fucked with like all this contract shenanigans. They missed on the pieces they should have taken when it was the right time. So now they're stuck in a situation where they're stabbing it. Like, we can get a 36-year-old Chris Paul to save us. Go for the playoffs. You gotta tell yourself that out loud. You're probably in pretty bad shape, man.
And I mean, with I'll ask this: with a 5-year deal, could they be latching Doc to Ben Simmons?
No,
5-year deal. They'd be coming up at the same time. Like, could you read through the lines to say, okay, if they're going to keep Ben or Joe, it's Ben that they're keeping?
Coaching deals don't mean anything. Okay. Like the length of them, I literally have. No, you could sign him to a 25-year deal. It doesn't matter. They're going to cut him after whenever he wears up his time. Like, when time's due, it's due. 5 years seems reasonable. I think that a lot of head coaches are looking for safety in those payouts. So, like, if it's a 5-year deal, again, our coaching contract's guaranteed. Like, the Bulls were still paying 2 other coaches right now, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just thought about that at the end of like, does that really...
Nah, if he sucks after 3 years, he's cut in 3 years. I don't see them playing around with that. That just is like, hey, here's your security so you feel better, Doc. Again, how many years did he have left on the Clippers when he was fired?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all I'm saying. It's just like, yes, it's great for him to say I got a 5-year deal, but I think that merely is just a sign that, hey, we respect you. We know you're a top tier and former NBA champion head coach.
Yeah.
Have the deal. If we want to cut you, we're still going to cut you. Nothing changes there.
Let's move on, Dave. Let's talk about what was going to. So if Doc didn't sign, this was going to lead the day today. However, Doc signed, and that's why these two flipped. But the NBA Finals happened yesterday, Game 1. It started out as a close game. I was like watching early. I'm like, damn, Heat look good. Heat are in this. Bam Adebayo playing well. This could be like a good series. Miami's just got to hang on. Then I went literally to eat my dinner, came back, and I was like, what? The Lakers are up by 20? What? What just fucking happened?
And they shot, 11 of 17 from 3
I think so.
During that stretch in the first half. Literally couldn't fucking miss.
Yeah.
It felt like.
The question I want to ask, though, because the Heat did take injuries. You have basically a plantar foot injury to Dragic, where not ruled out the entire finals, but doubtful for Game 2.
I think most of the doctors that I've heard talking about it are like, he can't run on that. Not for the next 2 weeks. Yeah. So I don't see him playing basketball.
Bam.
Without, heavy drugs.
Bam also has an injury.
It's multiple,
also listed as doubtful for Game 2. So the question, and I hate to ask this question because I felt like as I was trying to decide what the question should be.
And you got to say, and Jimmy Butler had an ankle sprain in the game.
A left ankle sprain. So it's like, I don't want to ask this question because I feel like it's slighting the Heat.
Nope.
But they are going up against the LeBron James AD. Are the finals over?
Yep, they are. They're fucking done. They're fucking done.
And how bad is this for the NBA if they're over?
It sucks so much. It's the lowest. They already hit the ratings just dumpster. Apparently, that was the lowest rated opening game of the NBA Finals in the last X years. Yeah.
Really? Why?
I don't know. You got LA, you got LeBron James, you got fucking Miami. You figure you got both coasts. You got sexy teams. You got big names. No, apparently it's just they did not do well in ratings. So, it's the NBA's. I mean, it's not their worst nightmare because it's not like LeBron got hurt. or AD got hurt.
Yeah,
But,
but like, I mean,
the competitive spirit is done.
yeah,
Like,
it's you
these
want.
games are going to be very lopsided, and as much as I love the Heat, and I
Mhm,
love the Heat, it just there is no answer. You can't
mhm.
replace Bam Adebayo.
Yeah,
You can't replace Goran Dragic. Like, those guys just aren't. Can't do it.
to
Don't got the
me,
people.
this is the worst case scenario for the NBA.
No,
Like,
LeBron going down would
no,
be the worst case
I'm
scenario. No
not.
one would watch that.
I'm talking about like besides that, like this is a worst case scenario for the NBA on this year because it's already a year that because of the pandemic, number one, and stopping the season.
Of course.
Number
Yeah.
two, because of the bubble atmosphere and how the playoffs were already different than what we would usually get. Now adding on to this, a third thing of one of the teams is just hobbled by injuries, and the rest of the I don't expect this to be a close series anymore. I expect Lakers in 4 now. Like it's done in 4 to where this is like this is the year where this was a like the NBA probably didn't want people using the A word, Dave, and where people were already starting to use.
You said it before it even started.
Yeah, I know. I was one of those people.
And the rest. You and the rest of the entire fucking media. ESPN said it. Bill Simmons said it. The Athletic said it.
Yeah.
Everyone said
but to say it's more fun, that's why I'm thinking worst case scenario, because this is just another thing to add to that argument that the NBA does not want. Like this season is a complete asterisk now to me. Like because of this, because there's no competition in the finals.
Wah. That's my response is wah. Every year's got a storyline. This year you had to overcome the isolation, the lack of family, the lack of fans, the lack of everything, the stop in the season. Like there are pluses and minuses to the season. There are pluses and minuses to every season. I don't think we've ever seen something so dramatic happen in the NBA that changed the game for, months where we just didn't have basketball in the middle of the season. So you can't say that, well, it's the easiest way. Like, yes, we also know the Warriors didn't make it to the playoff. Doesn't matter.
I'm not even bringing that up.
Is a championship. I think you have to say all.
I mean, you could. You're right. You're right. But like, I didn't even like. That's not even what I'm thinking of.
If you want to put an asterisk on this season, you put an asterisk on every other season because there's just as many storylines that could have happened, might have happened, would have happened. That's the way life goes.
Yeah, but it's like the whole thing. Like, you can't put an asterisk on every season.
You totally can.
No, not every single one. Yes. But the reason why for me it's like this is like first the A word, the asterisk word was brought up was because the pandemic, we had never seen something like this before. And it's like there was even at that time it's like, should we even restart the season because of everything going on? Then when it's like, okay, the NBA is doing what they're supposed to, no one's getting hurt, that was kind of pushed to the side. But then it was like the upsets this year that happened. And me and you have talked about this. We're on the same side. It was good basketball. Like, I'm not upset that the Clippers lost in the second round because if you wanted to be the better team, go out there and be the better team. Even though I do think home court advantage would have swayed one way or the other, I'm not necessarily saying that's the worst thing in the world. But this is, I would say, a worst case scenario for this year. Either way, what if it happened to the Lakers or happened to the Miami Heat like it did? Because this is the NBA Finals. You want this to be your most competitive series. And I know there are some years where it's like, wow. But there are some years where it's like, wow. I mean,
the Western Conference Finals usually are the most tough series. Yeah. Or last year was the Eastern Conference Final.
But I'm thinking like, for example, Spurs-Knicks in 99. Like, that was not an entertaining series. There are times where you get just a dud of a finals, but like this matchup was built up so much in the early part of this game when both teams were healthy. It was like, okay, this might be a series, even if the Heat do lose this one. And then it was just injury after injury. And I know injuries are a thing, but it's like the rest of the series is not going to be entertaining. In my mind, it's not going to be entertaining. It's not going to be competitive. I wonder how many people go, well, fuck this. I'll spend my time watching something else.
They already had their worst ratings to open the game. So it doesn't even matter. Like, the ratings are the ratings. It doesn't fucking matter. And we all believe that the Lakers would be the best team in the NBA this year. So the best team wins, which is good for the NBA.
I mean, there was a debate even about that.
Yeah, it was the debate of the Clippers versus the Lakers.
Yeah.
And I believe you and Sean bet on that. And,
Well, they never played each other, so it was moot.
No, I believe there's a clause in there.
Yeah, that if they never played each other, that the bet was off.
I thought it was
No, the bet was off. They have to play each other. That's the thing.
I thought it was whoever wins the championship.
No, it was. I said the Clippers were going to sweep the Lakers.
Oh, you were on the Clippers side?
So if they don't play each other, the bet was, I said that they would sweep the Lakers. Sean said they wouldn't. So if it was anything but 4-0, then he would have won. But they never played each other, so the bet never happens.
Ouch.
Like, that's what it was.
You got lucky.
I didn't get lucky. I basically...
You did get lucky, because they could have played in the playoffs, and that would not have worked out well for you.
They could have swept them. Who knows? Maybe the Clippers would have got a second win and would have swept the Lakers. But, like, I am not, like... I am almost on the side of to where it's like, with me personally, do I want to spend my time watching the rest of these games because of how they're going to go down? Like,
just basketball. We're not going to see basketball for another 3 months.
Yeah, but if it's boring basketball, I can spend my time watching other things that I have not been able to watch.
I'll be honest, there's not much on TV right now for me, so
I could catch up on the BOIZ. I would put old WWE pay-per-views above a blowout in the NBA. I would put MLB postseason above, like, if there's a close game in the MLB, which, let's be honest, there could be because there's more games going on there. Like, there are things that I'm like, okay, can I spend my time watching something else because I don't think these games will be close. I think the Lakers win by an average of 20 points per game now, and it's over in 4. Should be over right now. The NBA should just say it's over. Lakers take the trophy because it ain't going to be competitive.
You can't say that. You can't do that.
It ain't going to be competitive. Like, if it was just Goran, then maybe. But I hate to do this. I hate to go against the
best scorer on the team. That's okay.
Best scorer on the team, debatably, Jimmy and then Tyler Hero when Tyler Hero's on.
No, Goran Dragic has been their leading scorer through the playoffs.
Yeah, but who's a bigger loss, Goran Dragic or Jimmy Butler?
That's not what I said.
No, but I'm saying, like, sometimes it's not all about your leading scorer. And, like, I
don't disagree. I'm just saying you're taking away the leading scorer, the guy on their team who initiates the most offense.
Yeah, I think they could still, like, the Bam Adebayo is the one that, if he wasn't doubtful for game 2, like, I wouldn't have I would still have I'd be like, well, they could maybe win game 2, but, like, Goran, Bam's out, Jimmy, like Jimmy, I think will still play well.
Yeah, he'll play because he just cortisone shots up that ankle. He'll be good to go.
I'm not excited about the series moving forward.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's basically anything else you've got about the series.
I don't care that you're not excited about the series.
No, that's
my answer.
That's just what I say. Anything you think we haven't mentioned about the series going forward, or what happened in Game 1?
No, I mean it was incredibly lucky for the Lakers to get as hot as they did to start the game, and then obviously to have three of the top 3 players on the Heat go down with injuries. Like, that's unfortunate. That's incredibly unfortunate. That's unlucky beyond unlucky. I don't even know. Like, did they break a pane of glass on their way out, walk underneath some ladders? What was it for them? What put them out? But you know what? It's been a hell of a season for the Heat. They overachieved by every standard possible. They're going to hold steady next year, and then they're going to add Giannis Antetokounmpo to this team. Good fucking luck, League.
So, like, I called LaMelo the Knicks. Is Dave making a statement right now?
Yeah, let's fucking do it. Let's just go. Let's just go. We want Giannis.
So Giannis ain't going to the Warriors. He ain't going anywhere but Miami.
Giannis to Miami.
Giannis to Miami. Dave's calling.
Overperformed, and they got to the NBA Finals by doing it without. I mean, they were just. This roster's getting so much better. As long as they don't fuck up their contract situation in this offseason. I hope they don't take a stab at Vic. That's my concern. I don't want Victor Oladipo on the Miami Heat. I don't think he helps them win.
Yeah, I don't think they
incredibly whatever, but like I know he's asking for a way out.
I don't think they do though.
He's been rumored to like Miami as the problem, and he likes the players. So like, I get it, but I'd be like, thanks, but no thanks.
But here's the problem. Does Jimmy and Pat Riley want Victor Oladipo?
Pat Riley should not.
Like, that's the thing. I think that
great guy, nothing against him. It's just he does not fit what they need.
I think if Pat Riley is making a trade for somebody, it's for Giannis. It's to bring a guy like Giannis into what they already have. It's not a guy like Vic bringing him over. Because I'll just say this, Vic on Miami is like having a Jimmy Butler light. A guy who can score and play defense. Like, you already have that in Jimmy.
Offense, he can move the ball around there.
From the guard position.
Good. Yep.
So it's
just,
like,
they don't need it. They don't need him.
Mm-hmm. Dave, because of the Doc Rivers stuff, I didn't expect him to sign. With him signing made the conversation go longer. Draft discussion we had today, it's getting punted. We'll talk about it later. Because we got other stuff that'll probably take up some time. So because of that, we're moving into a segment we love to do here on MVP Sports Live. The dampest of dudes, saggiest of shooters, moistest of men, sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our wet boys, our players of the day from the day before from any sport, covering everything in the sports world. Usually how it works is Dave gives a wet boy, I give a wet boy, and then the patrons at patreon.com/MVPvids also give a wet boy as well. Silver and above, go ahead and support us there if you want to participate on the wet boy action. But Dave, after the Wednesday, had to think about what day it was for a second. After Wednesday, start off October strong, Dave. Who's your wet boy October 1st, 2020?
I just got to take the best player in the NBA as of today. LeBron fucking James. Like, yeah, he's 35. Yeah, he's as old as Michael was when Michael retired the second time. But you know what? He's about to win a championship just like Michael did. And he's just, he honestly was cruising through that game, and it felt like it's just, he's on a different level. Like, he's still on a different level. I love that Colin pulled up the clip today of the putback dunk or the oop dunk that he had after the halftime whistle hit. Like, going into halftime basically, and Kuz was on a breakaway. It beeped right when, Kuz got to basically like the foul line, threw it up for him, and just LeBron slammed it down with just enthusiasm. So huge credit to LeBron, huge game. Congrats on your new ring added to the collection. Continue that conversation moving forward as potential GOAT.
Yeah, I know I said it's over. First thing before I say this, I made a mistake on both the Laker ones because I didn't change it. Do you see the mistake, Dave?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. I threw an extra E in there for some reason. The other thing I was going to say is, by you saying so much like, oh, congratulations on winning, blah, blah, blah. I know I also said it's over, but you're like, you're digging into a part of me that's like, no, the Heat can win. Come on, Heat. Let's finish out strong.
When we picked this series, I told you exactly what it was. My heart said Heat over and over, but my brain just like the Lakers.
Yeah, but like full health, it's a different story, I think.
I agree.
For me, if you were watching at the very beginning of games live, I told you a lie. Because I accidentally hit my wet boy thing, Dave, and I was like, oh, don't trust anything, because, I might not have preloaded the wet boys, because sometimes I forget to do that. But for me, although this guy lost in the MLB, got eliminated from the playoffs today as his team lost 5-0, he had a great performance, Dave. And that's my boy. I'm feeling the Bauer, Dave. Trevor Bauer. Of the Bauer Hour from the Cincinnati Reds. 7 2/3 inning. They lose 1-0 in a 13-inning game yesterday. If this dude would have just had one run of offense, Dave, they would have won 1-0 in 9.
You see he did the chop as he walked off?
Yeah. Oh, I love Bauer. Yeah. Basically, like, I wonder if how many people got mad at him for that because...
he ate a little hate for that one.
There are people that want the Braves to get rid of that and the chop image. Because of reasons. But yeah, Trevor Bauer, great game, struck out 12. Should have won the game, but no one could hit the fucking ball. The Reds couldn't score runs in 2 games. They lost 1-0 yesterday, 5-0 today. There's a reason why they're going home. But Trevor Bauer, I wanted to give you some love because you played your damn mind out. And then Dave, the patrons, they're going with you. They're going to the NBA. You basically said, I want this guy or this guy, depending on who the patrons pick. And they picked one of them. What would you have done if they would have went baseball?
I mean, I would have... Oh, if I had to choose...
Yeah, if you had to choose between LeBron and AD.
I'd probably choose AD.
Okay. Well, that's who they chose, AD.
Yeah. On their behalf, I'll just say Anthony Davis is
for
good
the Los Angeles Lakers.
For the Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah. he's good at basketball. He was on fire to start the game. He carried the majority of the weight through the game. It felt like, I swear to God, that man gets points and I just don't even notice. Like I blink and I'm like, hey, he's made a couple buckets. Oh, wait, he's been at the line how many fucking times? Wait, he's got 16? No, 20? Wait, what? And it adds up so quickly for Anthony Davis. These are the kind of dominant performances we want to see out of him. We talked about how like he hadn't had, enough of them during these playoffs. He seemed very content to be like second fiddle, but at the same time, like it's two alphas on a team almost. It's two number one. And it's like, where's that 45-point night out of Anthony Davis? Where's that 35-point night? And like this was a dominant performance. I don't care that like he had no one to go up against, honestly, for 3/4 of that game. But like he just imposed his will whenever he fucking wanted to.
So when you just said this is two alphas on one team, I basically got the thought of I need someone to take the scene from How I Met Your Mother where Marshall goes, well, our relationship is two alphas. And Lily goes, oh, you keep thinking that, sweetheart. That's AD and LeBron. Like, LeBron's the alpha there. Like, is AD a good player and would be a one on most teams? Yes. But, like, if there's one alpha.
No, but, like Anthony Davis right now is playing like a top 5 player.
Oh, I know.
Like,
but when I think of alpha, it's like, I'm the leader of this team. I'm the number one here. AD knows his role. AD knows he's lower than LeBron. He's not going to clash heads like we see with the real two alphas with Wall and Beal.
Like that's the cool thing about LeBron is he doesn't play just lead you in scoring.
Oh,
like,
no,
he knows he doesn't like the best way for LeBron teams to win are through other players.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and yet again, I'm not saying that goes against LeBron in that sense. I'm just saying like AD knows I'm number 2, LeBron's number 1. And that's what I think of when you say the word alpha, Dave, towards like we know who the real alpha on that team is. Let's end the show with some non-NBA talk, Dave. Today, we had some news. We talked about it yesterday. We got official news today. 2 more players. So the Pittsburgh Steelers and Tennessee Titans game will not be played during Week 4 following 2 additional positive coronavirus tests among the Titans. The NFL announced Thursday. According to a statement from the NFL, 1 additional Titans player and 1 personnel member tested positive for COVID-19 on Thursday. The Titans added cornerback Christian Fulton to the reserve/COVID list on Thursday. That comes after 4 players tested positive, 4 players, 5 team personnel tested positive earlier this week. Coach Mike Vrabel said Wednesday that some players who tested positive are experiencing flu-like symptoms. Dave, I voiced my plan. I voiced it yesterday. I'll say it again. NFL, you're watching. I know you're watching. Thank you for watching. This is what you do. I don't mean to tell you how to do your job, Mr. Goodell, but this to me is the easiest situation. Make this week a bye week for both teams, like it seems like you're going to do. Take the Steeler-Raven game in week 7, move it to week 8. Steelers-Ravens is now a week 8 game, and then this game just happens in week 7, where the Ravens, how that would affect them, their bye moves from the 8th, goes to the 7th. They move it up 1 week. They move that Steeler game back a week. This game just happens in week 7. Both Titans and Steelers have their bye in week 4. That seems to me like the easiest way to fix this, Dave.
Yeah, I've seen it plastered all over Twitter for the last, 2.5 days. It's not a shocker at all to hear the news. And I kind of called it yesterday. I was like, more testing, more people. Like, that's unfortunately what's going to happen here.
Well, and you even called the thing of like, well, if more people test positive, then it'll be postponed, which it was.
Yeah. That's just all it comes down to. You got to be safe with it. And I think they heard somebody went out for a beer after the game or to a restaurant. I think it was a restaurant. So, that's all it takes. That's all it takes, peeps. It's almost like, going out in public without a mask on might be bad.
Mask bad, Dave. Mask bad. No, mask good. I'm being sarcastic, people.
Yeah.
I know there's someone out there that's going to be like, Ricky thinks you shouldn't wear a mask. But no, that is sarcasm to the people that don't wear a mask. You got to mask up. That's why I love the Philip DeFranco mask that says, don't be stupid. Because if you don't wear a mask, you're just stupid in my sense. The only quote that I have, Dave, that like, I get where he's coming from, but it was the side of like, I think there could have been a better way to say, or it should have been flipped around, was Mike Tomlin.
Okay.
Where he said, I'm disappointed because we were preparing to play and we're not getting an opportunity to, Tomlin said in his reaction to the postponement. But we understand the nature of this environment where we're in 2020. And so we're just adjusting accordingly. There's disappointment, no question. To me, when I put that, I go, wrong choice to make. Shouldn't have made that comment. To me, it should have been, if you're asked about the game and how it feels, the first thing out of his mouth should have been, I hope everyone who's affected recovers. That's number one. Like, the PR thing. Number two, it comes down to like yes, I know you're focusing on the game. That's your job. But like when you say a comment like this, it makes me think the game is more important than what we're going through right now. Can't hear you.
He's a coach. His job is to talk about coaching. I don't really. I don't care.
Like, but shouldn't there be some like
Nope.
humanity or humility? What's the word I'm looking for? Like being a human in this, rather than just I'm a robot. I'm coach.
Putting your values on other people.
Is the value of hoping people get better when they're sick of COVID? Is that really a bad value to like? Like, is that really pushing a value, or is that just assuming that everyone
of a head coach who was up there to talk to the media about his team having a game delayed? Now, do I think it would be an easy comment to make? Absolutely. I have no problem with him not saying it. I don't think you crucify people. This is what's wrong with America.
No.
Bullshit.
Dave,
we didn't say those people better be healthy.
Dave,
he talked about football, and he's a football coach. It's pretty fucked up, right, guys?
Dave, this is the problem we have on this show, Dave. You start putting words in my mouth. No one's canceling anybody. I didn't say Mike in the past I've said Mike Tomlin should lose his job, but it was completely football based. No one said
it's like, man, Mike Tomlin put up with that insane situation of Ben Roethlisberger, Bell, and Brown. How the hell is he still a singing man?
No one's saying should lose his job for what he's saying. I'm just saying if it was me, I would have flipped things around a little bit because I would have showed more humility rather than giving off the image of all I care about is this football game. Yes, I get you're paid to do that, but I would have showed a little humility. Then, Dave, the last two things we're talking, little college basketball quickies. The first one I actually like. It's actually some fucking positive news of the Patriot League is, yes, a smaller basketball conference. But the Patriot League is expected to cancel non-conference basketball games in 2020, sources told ESPN. Coaches in the league have been informed of the league's plan to begin the season in 2021 with an 18-game conference schedule. Army and Navy can appeal in order to play non-conference games in 2020 due to the Service Academy exemption, sources told ESPN. So, to me, greatest move I've ever seen. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. However, there's a side of me, Dave, that says, like, this is the, what's the word? The cynical side of me, I think is the right word, of like, well, yeah, it's easy for the Patriot League to do this because their non-conference games weren't going to affect who makes the tourney. Really, most of the teams that make the tourney from this league are you win the regular season crown and or you win the postseason crown. Like, this is an easy decision for a Patriot League league to make.
It's a money decision. That's all it comes down to. It's, we're going to lose how much money by not playing in 20. Yeah. They made the right call. They decided that human lives are more important than money. Easy. Crazy talk, I tell you.
I know. Where it's like, obviously, we're not going to see this from the Big Ten, the SEC, and all that because on top of the money they make, it's we can lose out on March Madness if we don't play non-conference games now. That's more important than people dying of COVID. So, like, this was one, even if it was short, Dave, I needed to put it out there because we need some I feel like we need some positive when it comes to coronavirus and when it comes to college football. Then the other news, and I don't know how I feel about this one, Dave. College football. The first college football playoff rankings are going to be pushed back. So the first college football playoff selection committee rankings has been pushed back 1 week to November 24th. Executive Director Bill Hancock told ESPN on Thursday. The date was moved from November 17th. So November 17th to November 24th. I think I said October accidentally. After all 10 FBS conferences announced their intentions to play a fall football season. The 13-member committee will announce its fifth and final rankings on Selection Day, December 20th. It will be the fewest number of weekly rankings during the playoff era because of the ongoing pandemic. Now that we know all conferences' starting dates, this change will allow the committee to analyze another week of games, Hancock said. There will be 4 rankings before Selection Sunday. The committee members have been studying teams and watching video, and I know they're looking forward to rolling up their sleeves and getting together. Dave, is this a little deal, big deal, no deal? Like, what are your thoughts on this? The committee moving back a week and we're getting less rankings in college football.
Little deal. It's an acknowledgement that they're going to try to treat these teams equally no matter how many games they played.
Okay.
Which, college football, congratulations, you idiots in the Big Ten, you idiots out there in the pack. You'll have a chance to make the playoffs still. You'll have a chance to still make your billions of dollars this year. I just hope that the kids are okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at the end of the day. I'm sorry. I should have started with I hope the kids are okay first. I'm sorry. I apologize, Ricky.
Thanks, Dave. At least you brought it up. Like, at least you said it. At least you said, I hope X people are okay. But remember, Dave, Trump brought back the Big Ten. That should be a big deal of why you vote for him in November because, football is greater than, the economy and a global pandemic and, white supremacy. Like, Big Ten football is more important than that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that is going to do it for MVP Sports Live today. It was a great show. Talked NBA. No NBA games tonight as the finals will be on Friday.
Everybody's just hyped to see this just matchup of just elite team.
Who do you got tonight, Broncos or Jets? Because I'll be honest, in the MVP league, I had to pick up a defense, Dave, because the Steelers have a bye this week now. And I'm rolling with the Jets tonight, so the Jets better play good. I'm picking Jets to win 17-10.
Do you not think that I don't remember his first name? Brett Rippin?
Jeff Driscoll?
No, Driscoll's down.
So
he's
it's
done.
Blake Bortles?
It's Rippin.
Oh, okay, so they got rid of. I thought Blake Bortles was the backup.
Bortles is the backup. Okay. Driscoll got yanked partway through their game last week. Don't you even watch?
No, I didn't watch the Broncos. You're right. I didn't watch the Broncos.
Rippin is starting. I swear to God, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Rippin's the wrong way to say it, but I'm going to go with Rippin. I keep saying it wrong. But yeah, Blake Bortles will come in, casually throw a couple TDs. I like the Denver Broncos.
Is it Rypien? It's Rypien.
It could be Rypien.
Rippin.
Yeah, I'm taking the Broncos. They got more talent around the field, even if they don't have it at the quarterback position. They're just a better football team.
Do you want to know the line?
The Jets can get their head coach fired.
Yeah. Do you want to know the line though?
What's that line?
It's a first ever line here on MVP Sports Live.
Yeah.
Even.
Oh,
it's even, Dave. It was Jets plus or Jets -1 earlier.
Yeah, I saw it as high as 1.5 actually.
Okay, but now it's even. Vegas has it as even.
People are moving numbers around. It's a sketchy one, people. You don't know what's going to happen tonight. And it's, again, we're talking about just top talent in the NFL here.
Yeah, absolute top talent. I'm going to go with the Jets, though, because, I had to go with their defense because it's the only one out of the defenses available that I needed to trust. Well, the defense is that... Because now we care about my fantasy team.
I do now.
Not before.
I'm intrigued. It's an actual league that matters. It's not your 0-3 team's roster.
I mean, I drafted badly in that one. That one I'm completely fucked in because I have
care.
No. I'm gonna say it. I have five Titans and Steelers, Dave. That's all I was gonna fucking say. Jeez. But the defenses that are available in our league, like Dave's gonna fucking force me to commit murder here, people. And that's not a good thing.
I keep telling you not to bring up this league, and you're like, well, I got to talk about it. And then...
Well, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. The defenses are Packers against Atlanta.
Yeah,
doesn't look like a good one. Cowboys against the Browns.
That's a spicy one. I like that.
Jaguars against Cincy, but Jaguars defense hasn't performed well fantasy-wise this year.
True.
Raiders against Buffalo.
Yeah, no, staying away from that.
Cardinals against Carolina.
No, no. I think the Cowboys is leading it for me.
Washington versus Baltimore.
Yeah, no. They're about to get beat down for what happened to them last week. Like, the Ravens are going to get revenge.
Seattle versus Miami.
I mean, Seattle, no. Let's do it.
Houston versus Minnesota. Yeah.
I understand why you can't do that, though. I understand you're
there's a possibility like things could go well, but I've been bashing the Texans overall all year.
You do you.
The Bengals versus Jacksonville.
Obviously not.
Eagles against the Niners with a healthy Kittle.
God, no.
Panthers versus Arizona.
No.
The Chargers versus Tom Brady. Oh, I'm sorry, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Gronkaneer.
The Gronkaneers.
Would not do. Still Cowboys. I like the Cowboys matchup.
Dolphins against Seattle. Against the MVP, Dave. Against Dave's MVP.
Not doing that. Against the league's MVP.
I still think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
The man's going to throw 60 touchdowns.
So could Aaron Rodgers. Still a long season. The Browns versus the Cowboys, which I'm like, no. The Falcons versus the Packers, which I'm like, no. They've always give up leads. Yeah. The Lions versus the Saints.
Honestly, sneaky could not be bad.
No, this one could be sneaky because it was put in the Discord. Apparently, Sean McVay is having some trouble preparing for this defense, Dave. The Giants versus the Rams.
Take the Cowboys.
I'm going to roll with the Jets, I think. The Jets have a favorable matchup against the Broncos.
It's probably going to be a low-scoring game.
Which is good for me. Like, low scoring is good. I just need low scoring and, like, an interception, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that's wrong about the Cowboys is they've had injuries, and their games have been fantasy points 4, -3, and 2. And there's a chance Baker could go off. When I bet against Baker, he usually like tries to do dirty things to me, Dave. I'm not all about that.
That's some luck in this Battle of Titans tonight. Then
I've got to roll with it. But thank you guys for checking out MVP Sports Live. It's been another banger of a show. Make sure to join the Discord as we're always watching great games. Maybe there's a Thursday night watch along tonight. I don't know. If you want to get on the Discord, link down below. Also in Discord or in Twitch chat, you can do !Discord to get that link. Patreon.com/MVP vids is how you support us. Bronze, silver, gold, platinum. You can get in on those watch-alongs for just $1 of support. Thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat, Hill, and Philly Sean. Also, you can sub to us on Twitch to help support us. We're on YouTube at MVP Sports, and we're on Twitch every Monday through Friday at twitch.tv/MVP vids. Dave and I will be back tomorrow for some more football. Is it Football Friday here on MVP? But as always, have a good day, everybody.